Assembling the cutter stand. What we want to do first is place the box in an open area with plenty of room to work. Should be places where you can put your tools and so forth. Take a sharp knife and carefully open the stand box, being careful not to cut too deeply. The tape should be pretty easy to cut on all sides. You can then open the box up, and right on top you're going to see a flat cardboard. This is to protect the parts, but it serves as a great place to put all of the pieces. So you might want to just put that near the box in front and get ready to take the parts out. Just check the box for damage, look around, make sure that things are all look like they're there. And in a small section in the box you're going to find a sheet of paper that's going to have all of the parts as well as instructions for assembling the stand. Now of course we're going to walk you through that in this section as well. Move the box a little bit out of the way and look at those instructions again. Start taking out some things. For instance, the small package of screws, and then inside that little package you're going to find an Allen wrench that's going to allow you to assemble this particular stand. So all of that's provided to you. You don't need any extra tools at all. Again, take a look at the assembly instructions, just review them, look at the parts list, and what you want to do is start verifying that you have all the parts in the box. When you become familiar with the list, you can begin unpacking the box. Just take the parts out one at a time and remove them. You can remove perhaps the legs or the side panels here at first. These are some of the larger pieces in the box. That's what I'm doing. I'm just taking them out, taking the wrappers off. Save those wrappers. Not that you may need to ship this in any way, shape, or form, but if you need to move it from one office to another, you may want to repack it and unassemble it and disassemble it, and you may want to repack this the same way, but that's what I do with all of the pieces I get. I just save the wrappers and then I make sure that I save the box and so forth. I'm actually going to take out the media brackets. These are the brackets that are actually going to hold the media rollers and your media, your vinyl media or whatever media you have on rolls that will go through the cutter. There should be two of those pieces. Here you actually see the media rollers. These are long cylindrical rods that are going to fit on the media brackets and allow the media to sit on top of them. There should be two of those also. And then you have the feet. These are going to attach to the sides of the assembly so that you can hold your cutter up a little bit off the floor. These have rollers on them. Actually they're little round pieces that hold the assembly nice and steady. When you can adjust those a little bit to level the stand if you needed to. Usually right out of the box they're perfect. Once you're sure you've taken all the parts out, put all the plastic wrappers back in the box and just put the box back in the corner somewhere, save it somewhere. You can even tape it up if you want. But keep that box. It's a good idea to keep it in case you ever need to ship that stand somewhere, since everything fits perfectly in there. Now once again, when you have all the parts removed and assembled here in some organized way, just verify that every part is there. You should have the screws, the Allen wrench, the media brackets, the stand feet, left and right bar. This is a real close-up of the media brackets that helps you see what they look like. There's the panels that are going to go on the side of the stand as well as the top of the stand. And here's all of the parts again. So you can take a good look at these, make sure you have everything available to you, just to be sure. You know, it's terrible to put something together and not have the parts, but make sure you have them all. Now you can start assembling this. I suggest you take one of the side panels, and this is actually going to go in the middle, this piece here. It's a center bar, and there's only one way it fits in, and you want to fit it in where the holes match up so that you can put some screws in. So you'll grab your Allen wrench, and you can hand tighten the screws if you need, and then just give them a final tightening with the Allen wrench. Don't want to overdo it, but you know, make it tight so that the stand is nice and firmly put together. The entire assembly time should be about 20 minutes or so, maybe 30 at the most. I mean, it's just really pretty easily done. What I'm doing here is I'm just sort of turning this around so you can take a closer look at how those screws are actually placed in these holes here. I'll zoom up on it, and you'll see there are two screws going down into the side panel. You can see that there. I've got one in, and I'm going to put the other one in. Just take your time here. Nothing should be forced. In this case, you know, I tried to put the screw in. Maybe the hole wasn't aligned or whatever. It's really assembled well and easily. Hand tightening it, and then I'll just take my Allen wrench and make sure that it's nice and tight so that it's secure. You can see here I'm not overdoing it. I'm just sort of putting that in there and tightening it up till I feel like it's nice and snug. Very good. Now there's two additional holes on the bottom of this assembly which we're going to use and to make sure that that center bar is really secure. And this is going to give stability to the entire assembly. So you want to make sure these are attached as well. Two more of those regular screws will go in there, and you'll see we'll tighten them with the Allen wrench again. Sometimes you know, if you have some difficulty putting a screw in or whatever, just use the Allen wrench and just tighten it like I'm doing here with the long end till it gets up and snug. Sometimes my big old fingers won't fit in there, but you can tighten it with the Allen wrench. That's perfectly fine to do it that way. Once again, we want to make sure that we tighten these and make sure they're nice and snug, because like I said, the center bar here actually gives you all that stability in your device, so you want to make sure they're nice and snug. Well, that's one side assembled. We're just going to repeat the process for the other side. I found it was very easy to just leave that stand pointed up like that, and then put the other side on and insert the screws. The assembly is exactly the same as you just did with the first side. 4 screws, 2 on the side and 2 on the bottom. Now at this point I've got both the sides assembled and the center bar, so this ought to be able to sit up on its own. I'm just checking to make sure that the assembly is nice and firmly and snug put together, because I'm going to put some feet on the top now, and I'm looking at a couple of locations here. You'll see where the feet are going to belong. Now you need to decide right now which direction is going to be the rear of the assembly, and there's a long side and a short side to these feet. So I'm pointing mine toward the back. There are two screws that are going to attach here. You just put them in and use the Allen wrench again to tighten them up. And what you want to do is just make sure that on both sides of this assembly here the feet are pointing in the same direction. So you don't want a short one in the front and a long one in the back. They both need to be in the same direction, pointing in the same direction. Just follow the same process for the other side. It's pretty straightforward. I'm just going to actually show you a better view here. You can see how the long end is in the back and the shorter end is in the front. I'm going to make sure that that same direction is followed on the other side with the other foot as well. And we appreciate the